You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts,
Coach Mayor,
Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. We are just four little country kids out there misbehaving, and my name is Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. I got caught shaving.
Look who's outside waving. It's my brother, Jared Lowe. Hello.
I was running around the house with a pickle in my mouth, but now I'm outside waving. Good to be here. What's up?
3 episodes in a row.
Sticking around with Coach Mayor to talk some streaming, some TV, some stuff. We took a little break for the holidays, so we got to catch up on stuff. I hope everybody out there got a nice relaxing holiday season, Christmas, New Year's, but we're back to the pop culture grind. No anecdotes out there, nothing you've been waiting to get off your chest for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's been so long. Like, we just kind of skimmed right over Christmas into New Year's, and like we took that little break, and then I was just like, "There's so much to talk about." I hadn't even thought about anything else.
Who?
Cool.
Get to it.
We live lives of intrigue.
We're still kicking.
If we're not watching TV, we're not living, so there's nothing else to talk about. That's all we talk about.
We live for the TV. All right. Wait, well, let's just start. It might have been our favorite show. When did it come out? 2019, 2020? The Righteous Gemstones. Comedy on HBO from Danny McBride and his crew. Came out and bowled us over. We loved the first season, so we've been looking forward to season 2 for a long time, and it's back.
Whatever this bullshit is, I don't got time for it, okay? Our daddy killed that reporter.
You got a sick mind, Jesse.
That's exactly what I've been saying to him.
It's obvious.
Stop talking shit on Daddy.
You don't know Daddy as well as you think you do. Judy, you need a ride?
Yeah, I'll take one.
Then get one.
Dad can't shoot worth a shit.
I'll shoot you. Go to your room right now.
This damn family has everything in the world, but you can't just all get along.
Everybody in the church knows that your husband is a joke. You rollerblade?
It's an exercise I do to keep swole.
What the fuck is that?
It's Daddy's phone. Last night reminded me of old times. I set him up, you knock him down.
Knock him down means kill.
And kill means murder.
And murder causes death.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, moving on.
No, we ended on a upward swing with them, and then it just kind of starts right back into it. They're back from Haiti, or wherever they were at the end, and back to being gemstones and doing their church thing. Yeah.
I saw somebody point out, I hadn't even thought of this, for a show mocking religion or church or that type of, like, it never really makes fun of the parishioners or the people in the church or the believers. The target of this show is all the people at the top. It's mocking the people who exploit the believers and who, none of them are quite, I don't know, bad guys or evil, or they're not. They all seem to believe in something. At least they give lip service to the Bible, and they always pray, and Jesus is going to help us. But then, it's always kind of quickly put to the side for whatever the scheme is. So yeah, I really love these characters. They're very complex. They're not people you want to root for or like, but their interactions, I don't know, they're just so good as a unit, and they're so interesting. Then the playoff feature, I love it.
It's a good show. I can't think of
Well, we get that. You talk about flashback. We get a flashback of Eli starting out, and You know, he comes from
Oh,
Tennessee,
yeah.
and he's a very poor, and he gets. Apparently, he was a wrestler, working the circuit.
Kid.
The maniac
The
kid.
maniac kid. The
Break your
cocaine
thumbs.
bear.
So, yeah, so we get a
Plot
little
cocaine.
get a little flashback of him, you know, doing his wrestling thing, and then, you know, wrestling can be, especially back in the day, was a pretty shady, you know, could be a pretty shady business with some shady characters. So it was, I thought it was kind of neat how they wrapped the two together. He's, you know, they go off to him and some little guy, the promoter's son, go off to get to do some collection on a guy and his family, and put their mask on and break into his house, and I think he breaks his thumbs, doesn't he? Snaps them.
That's the move.
So
I rewatched the first season because it had been so long, and John Goodman is not really the focus of that first season. He's in a lot of it, but I'm glad we're gonna get more of him, because there's especially a scene. It just made me realize there's a scene early on. They're recording. This is in the first season. They're recording like a video for the church, and in the span of about 20 seconds, John Goodman goes through 3 completely different emotions of like, "Welcome, brothers and sisters, to the Sunday service. We hope you have a blessed day." And Danny McBride's phone is going off. And he snaps and screams at him. He's like, "You're going to answer that." And then as he gets up and walks away, Goodman's face just drops, and he's just like staring ahead. Like he is just, his whole life has been a mess. So it's like John Goodman is such a great actor. It's almost in a very all-star cast of hilarious people.
yeah,
John Goodman is just something else. He's on a whole other level. That one little scene of like, oh, I almost forget John Goodman is amazing, and we cannot ever forget that.
yeah. In a series with the rest of the family are all ridiculous characters. And so over the top, and then, you know, he comes in and really kind of balances that out at times. So, and kind of puts them.
And then
in
we
place.
had Eric Roberts as a great. He's slimy. He's got to be slimy, but we don't quite know how or what his plan is. And we had Eric Andre as another.
He was good.
Preacher.
Yeah. So
And I know I've seen his wife in something, but I don't know the actress's name. I know I've seen her in some other comedies and things.
Yeah, they played the Listens. They're from Texas. They're also big time preachers, and have their whole ministry going. And Jesse and his wife want to get into business with them. Is so far, you know, first 2. Well, we got 2 episodes or 3 now.
I think
just
3.
3.
They
I
did
can't
2 the
remember.
first night. They did 2 on the first week. Yeah. And again, all the talk is, look what we can do for Jesus. We can spread his word. All the surface is how much they can do for the world, but it's all about power and
money.
Reach and status, and you know, it's all the stuff bubbling under the surface of. It's really for them. They're not doing it for the greater good, but they've convinced themselves that they're all in it for holier, noble reasons. But they're not.
Yeah, so there is we find out there's a reporter has written a story and uncovered some dirt. I guess the original story he wrote was about somebody that are they like under the Gemstones ministry? Was that the
There's
deal?
like the Gemstone streaming network. It's like all the people that are like affiliates.
Yeah.
That are, you know, taking up screen time on the channel.
Yeah, so this guy gets exposed, him and his wife, for being swingers and taking drugs and stuff, and then they tell him, you know, he's not going to be on the network anymore, and they're going to be expelled, and then the reporter comes after we find out the reporter is coming after the Gemstones next, and he meets with Eli and tells him that he's writing a story about Amy Lee, you know, who's deceased, the dead mother of the family. So we have to find out what the dirt was that he was writing about with Amy Lee. Did I cover it?
That's pretty much it.
So yeah, I'm just really excited this show's back. I've liked all the episodes so far. It doesn't seem to be taking a downturn at all for me. It just feels very much. I feel like it's been a while since season 1, so I had to go back and rewatch it too. But man, I tell you, like it's a very rewatchable show. Like it's very easily binged because it's so entertaining.
What happened to Walton Goggins?
Baby Billy in the show?
Yeah.
He ended up with the money.
He gets the money that the guy stole from the church. And remember, then they wreck into him with Aunt Tiffany. And he T-bones him, and then she ends up shooting the guy. And then they take the money and take off. So we don't know at this point really where Baby Billy is.
Okay. Couldn't remember whether I just thought he wasn't on there. I was like, oh, what happened? I didn't think he died.
No. He did get struck by lightning.
That's right. Yeah, because they went to confront him.
Yeah. Yeah.
To get the money back.
To get the money back.
Struck by lightning.
That's right. He got struck by lightning. He says, I saw her. I saw Amy Lee. So I expect him back pretty soon.
Yeah, the show is only improved by Uncle Baby Billy's show.
Yes.
So.
All right, so the other big drop on HBO Max, the DC character spinning out of the Suicide Squad. We got Peacemaker from James Gunn.
Have you ever heard of a guy named Peacemaker?
No.
He is a trained killer. We've got trouble with that maniac.
Go! What are you waiting for?
That thing better not crap back there.
Can't house train an eagle, dude. Not without stealing its soul. Hey, Dad. It's kind of a rough go for me lately, Dad.
You don't say.
Somebody shot me. A building fell on me.
You let somebody shoot you?
It's not like I invited him to come shoot me, Dad.
Pathetic.
I thought you were in prison for life.
I work for the government.
Post office?
You think they'd let me out of prison to deliver mail?
I don't know. It's the first government job I could think of.
I kill people for them, okay?
This task force doesn't officially exist, which leaves us on our own.
We call our targets butterflies. They are a serious threat to the safety of American citizens.
There's something weird going on. You think me and Vigilante are too stupid to notice.
Hey, everyone! Which one's me and which one's Eagly?
Okay, you're half right, but you score 50% on the test at school. What do you get? A D. School was my bag. It's for dorks.
John Cena as the DC vigilante, anti-hero, maybe a villain himself. We don't know, but yeah, kind of one of the things people really liked about the recent Suicide Squad movie. They liked that character. I feel like the show was in production before that movie ever came out, and we learned whether fans liked him or not. It was already going to go, so
they'd already made that
decision.
They
knew they had something there.
Yeah, I think this series is it. Did I read on the at least first episode? It was produced and written by James Gunn.
They dropped 3 episodes is all we've had so far, and all 3 of them were written and directed by James.
Okay,
Gunn, so very hands-on with it.
Yeah, so this picks up from Suicide Squad. He's in the hospital when it starts, and it kind of goes from there. I want to talk about that intro.
It sets a tone.
It really
does. It lets you know right off the bat what kind of show you're getting.
Yeah, it's very James Gunn choreographed a new dance routine for the entire cast. As you know, I saw somebody mention like, "Oh, I don't want to skip the intro anymore. At least on this show, I want to watch them dance every time." So
I watched them dance the first 2 times. That was enough. It was good, but I don't need to see it every time.
Well,
not watch them 3 in a row.
It cracks me up every time when at the very end when Judo Master comes out there because he's so tiny. I don't know why that's funny to me, but this terrible green costume and little tiny guy.
He's in that go home green or whatever.
Yeah, go away green.
Go away green. And I hope everybody's sticking around. There've been post-credits thing in all 3.
Yes.
Each one, it's not anything special, but there's a little, like either it looks like a little deleted scene or some little funny bit. So each one has had a post-credit tag at the end.
Yeah, so we get John Cena back as Peacemaker. We get some side characters. We get a Vigilante, a DC character. His name is actually called Vigilante. And he I think he was on that character was featured in one of the CW shows there for, maybe it was Arrow that had Vigilante, a version of Vigilante.
I don't remember him, so Arrow's the one I don't watch. So.
I'm pretty sure. But the costume's pretty on point. The guy's super funny, kind of this odd, they've portrayed him as this oddball, like dorky guy. And then we get the support team, new character. I can't think of her name, but she, Amanda Waller's daughter. And then the guy from the two characters from Suicide Squad. And then we get a new mercenary guy, that they've basically told Peacemaker, either go back to jail or you're going to work for us. So kind of continuing that storyline. And we get Eagly. Eagly, guys. What did you think about Eagly?
I like a lot of this show. It's almost too much. There's some weird mixture of I'm really enjoying this, but it's also all way too much. I don't know if it needs to dial back or go further. I don't know. It's all in a very weird wavelength.
It reminds me a little bit of the Kick-Ass movies and the ultra violence and kind of really super duper over the top ridiculous characters. That's just that was the vibe I got off of it. So in at least the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, I feel like that's my main criticism is I liked it. I thought it was very good. I like James Gunn's style. I enjoy the character, but Peacemaker is such a big character. He's so dumb and loud and brash, and he's enough. He's enough to make it so off kilter. But then you add Vigilante, and he's quipping and he's crazy and wacky, and Judo Master's eating Fritos or Cheetos or whatever. And it's every character can't be crazy, or it's too much. So it makes Peacemaker less special. He needs some straight men to bounce off of a little bit. So I don't know. I haven't quite said the vibe of it or the wavelength of it hasn't quite gelled with me yet. That I feel like there's almost too much craziness going on. I need a something to focus on for how crazy John Cena
we need
is.
an Eli Gemstone in there is what we need.
Sure, yeah. And even the Black Hood can't ground things.
Yeah, Return of the Black Hood. His terrible mustache. But yeah, I'm digging it. I'm gonna watch it.
We get a lot of hair metal. James Gunn's known for his, crazy. The 70s. AM Gold's not gonna fit this show that James Gunn usually uses. So moving up to the 80s kind of hair metal works pretty well. But yeah, I thought it's very confident. It's very it's going for it. Like I said, the violence is it's not shying away from that kind of stuff, or the the raunchiness of it, the language. It's not pulling any punches, and I respect that. So I don't know. I don't know if it's too there are scenes even oh, this is really funny, and then it just keeps going, and they keep doing the same. And it's I feel like not having the parameters. There's almost too much going on. And there's look how much we can get away with. I don't know. It's only 3 episodes. Maybe if I settle into the show a little more, I'll like it more. But I don't know. I'm still a little up in the air with it for now.
As far as comparing first 3 episodes, I have no criticisms about this in comparison to Boba Fett. This is way more entertaining.
Now, if Boba Fett had been in the tighty whities instead of the long underwear.
This is way more entertaining to me. John Cena is just perfect as this character. He's so cartoonishly built, and then it's great. I really like it.
I love the little. I wish, and I hope they do more of these. But the little jokes about when she has a little snack bag, and she offers it to him, when they're staking out the house, and he picks through it and then starts putting stuff back in there. He's like, oh, these are, worthless calories.
Empty calories.
Yeah. So I like those little jokes. But yeah, it's good. It's good.
We got confirmation that Bat-Mite exists.
Yep. I had no doubt.
Yeah. And little Easter egg, the police car is set in Charlton County. That's the Charlton County Police Department, which Charlton Comics is where Peacemaker originated before DC bought them out. So he is a Charlton character. So that's a little reference there for you, comic fan.
Huh.
Is the butterflies something from the comics?
Nothing I could place. Same with Robert Patrick's character. I'm sure that's a reference to something, but it was.
Yeah, I was going to ask who the heck's he supposed to be.
Yeah, I didn't.
They said the name of who
White
he was.
Dragon.
White Dragon.
Yeah,
I was like, that's a little on the nose.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but it makes it interesting. I mean, it does make it interesting, even though
he's good in it.
Yeah,
like, he's really good in it.
Yeah, but yeah, totally.
His hair's the best thing in the show.
When he went into that like secret room, I was like, "What is happening?" Because I totally did not expect that. Like he was some kind of genius guy making all this tech and helmets and stuff, and I was just like, "Okay, like this is taking a turn with this guy."
I'm not sure how many episodes it is. I didn't get a list for how much we have to look forward to. But
I know they've been amping it up for a while.
I don't know, but this seems to be the new, like everybody's trying to find their footing on release schedules, but this seems to be the new thing is chunks of episodes where they were doing everything at once. And then yet still everybody's doing their own thing, even on, different things on one channel, but they were doing everything at once. Then they went back to one a week, and then they were doing some shows are doing 3 the first week and then 1 a week, and then lately I've noticed a lot of shows are doing 3 each week all at once, 3 chunks, and that's kind of nice to be able to watch a few episodes at once and then wait a week. So
yeah, you're never gonna make everyone happy, but I was kind of annoyed. I'm like, I don't want to sit here and watch 3 episodes, but I knew we were recording tonight. It's like, I got to watch all these on Thursday night. So it's like, it was a little much for me that first night.
I definitely like I don't like a whole season at once anymore unless it has to be a certain kind of show. Like, I don't know if it's like a reality type, like a documentary type thing or something. I don't mind. Just give me the whole season. I'll watch it at my own pace. But when it's a show, I like there to be a little water cooler talk like we're doing, and you don't have to worry about when did somebody how far is somebody in the season,
I'll throw in a few other DC things real quick before we get to anything more interesting. CW's lineup came back. New season of Batwoman. The second half of Legends of Tomorrow. Season 2 of Superman and Lois came back. And I feel like that's probably the cream of the crop. The conflict and drama on that show are so much more interesting than a lot of the other stuff. It starts with, it kind of picks up what Superman did at the end of last season, and the Department of Defense is like, hey, you could have clued us in, like you saved, some foreign nation or whatever. He's like, you need to put American interests first. And Superman's like, I can't do that. I saved the entire world. I can't check in with you. He's like, well, then we're gonna have to rethink our whole relationship. So it's like Superman dealing with, can he deal with politics? He saved it was a North Korean sub. He rescued a sinking submarine, but it was full of people who are hostile to America. So it's like, well, I'm gonna save lives. So you deal with whatever you got to do, but I'm gonna save lives. And then it has Steel, John Henry Irons' daughter, came back from a doomed reality where she should have died. And so she's trying to adjust to this new world. And in her world, Lois was her mom. And in this world, she's a strange, Lois has never set eyes on her before. So there's that weird, strange, should I have more, a more familial bond with you? Because, in this other reality, I was your mother. And it brings up all this stuff from Lois's past. And, just so where a lot of these CW shows, the drama is so surface level and week to week, it's just, oh, I'm mad at you and you're mad at me. But this show seems to have some actual depth behind it. And it also premiered Naomi, the first season. This was the newer character created by Brian Michael Bendis just a few years ago. And it was executive produced, and the first episode was co-written by Ava DuVernay, who was a very acclaimed filmmaker. I think saw this chance to put a stamp on a young female minority character and get her voice heard. So this one is set. I'd never really read the comics. I didn't know much about it, but it's set in a world where superheroes are fictional. So she is like a Superman fan, but she only knows him from the comics and the movies. So it's different from the other CW shows. So far, I've only got one episode, so I haven't quite figured out what's going on or whether I like it a lot. But the pilot was interesting enough that I'll keep watching and see where it goes. But very, very recent character without a whole lot of comic book history already on the TV screen is a little unusual to have someone with someone that new to already have a media presence. But hey, we'll see where it goes.
Did I see they were doing the DC was doing on the Batwoman show like their first black Joker?
I bailed on Batwoman about half a season ago.
I saw a still shot and something to that reference, and like he had like a white type jacket on, and it was a very different look. So I didn't know what was going on with that.
The internet's gonna love that.
Yeah.
What have you been watching, Jared?
Mostly Cobra Kai.
Mostly. All right. I can get behind that.
Everyone should be.
Man can't stand. You can't fight. A man can't breathe. You can't fight. A man can't see. You can't fight.
Extreme situations require extreme measures.
So
the show is really blown up from the YouTube Red days where it was really cult. Now this is the number one show on Netflix. Everyone on my Facebook feed is talking about it. People love the Cobra Kai. I'm so happy it found that audience.
So happy it went to Netflix, so more people could watch it. So this was season 4, and I was trying to remember because it'd been a while since I'd watched season 3, where we were picking up at, but it's the combined forces of Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do versus Cobra Kai, with the return of Terry Silver from the old movies. So,
and I feel like when this show was first announced, like I remember joking, "Oh, I can't wait till we get to Terry Silver." And Karate's bad boy Mike Barton shows up, joking that how ridiculous to mine the depths of these later movies. But like here we are. That's the world we're in right now. Terry Silver is back.
We made it,
and it's amazing.
And he looks like exactly what you want him to be. Like he could have easily been some frump, and no, he is exactly perfection.
Some bald guy in long underwear.
So what are we digging about this? Are we still hating on the kids arc and just wanting to see more Johnny and LaRusso and more adult stuff, or what?
Yeah, Johnny is why I tune in. Anytime Johnny is on the screen, I'm 100% on board. The rest is fine.
Yeah.
I'll take it just to get more Johnny.
Yeah, I sometimes I can't pinpoint what it is I like about it. Like I like the show, but it's like some of the pieces don't make sense to me, like don't add up, and that. But then the completed product is so good. Like I not to keep bringing up Boba Fett, but the I will say that some of the action feels like that chase in episode 3. Like some of the karate is just so slow.
Yeah, I noticed that too. This last season, especially, I was just like, ooh.
It's just like they're just doing the moves, and it's like, is that what karate's like? Is it just really slow paced? And
Terry Silver is like 74 years old.
The kids are doing that. No, but
Yeah,
the kids are doing that. It's just like you guys are just like this slow, calculated thing. It's like, come on, I want some freaking fast. I want these kids to be, like Johnny on the line, like just like quivering, get ready to run forward. Like, I mean, when you watch the tournament in the original movie, everybody is like going fast and hard, and they're not doing that in this. They're, they do some brutal moves, but it's at a very like slow pace. But then they do ridiculous things like leaping across a building, practically flying. It's just like, I do like that is how ridiculous that is compared to some of the other stuff they do that is very like a child's karate school that is not, that they're doing like some not very impressive things. Like it's,
yeah, you can go from not knowing anything about karate to one montage later and you're suddenly an expert. So
the montages every time.
This season particularly, they would pick up kids like a week before the tournament and they would like make it to the semifinal. It's like, I think that girl had about a week of karate.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's really good now.
She went from the debate stage to now we're all going, man, I can't wait to see her next year. She's really going to kick butt.
Which she did basically say that. She's like, yeah, I lost, but you just taught me this last week. I'll win next year. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the constant, they'll occasionally make the reference of like, boy, this Valley's obsessed with karate, or like the mom says, you need to find a mentor, someone who has nothing to do with karate. Like, like you can't solve everything with karate. Like that. Yeah, they know how ridiculous it is, and they lampshade it a little bit, but I can't get enough of that. And then also the way Terry Silver was like, I was doing a lot of cocaine. He's like, we were torturing teenagers, man. That was weird. Like he had to say, like, that was a little weird what we were doing. And then it would show the clips of him like, woo, make that kid bleed. I was like, yeah, that was weird, man.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, the only criticism I really have from this season is I don't like them trying to redeem John Kreese.
That felt like the only kind of misstep for me, because I what I appreciate about the show is that like it likes to work in the gray areas of like, think certainly the early seasons of like, you were rooting for, okay, what's his kid's name? Johnny's neighbor.
Oh,
Miguel. Yeah. Miguel, yeah, and it's like he was the one you rooted for, but he was Cobra Kai. And then like, okay, well maybe he shouldn't beat that up, or Hawk's kind of a bully. It's like, yeah. I mean, kids are not all good or all bad. So like it works in those gray areas, and it works for me. But yeah, to me that was kind of the big misstep for me, is that the season it like kind of put Terry Silver in there as like, no, we need to do it this way, and like he was like kind of the voice of reason, but then why? I didn't understand, why at the end. I guess they were trying to say it's because he had a soft spot for Johnny, I guess, but it's like, I don't know, I didn't get that, the whole of like, or were they trying to do a redemption arc for Kreese? It's like, no, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not here for that.
But I definitely, that was a problem for me. But the funny thing is they do nostalgia so well in this show that when they bring back characters like that girl that got kicked off the show and then Stingray, I'm just like, how do I have nostalgia for these characters that we just briefly saw a couple seasons ago? But I'm like, yeah, Stingray.
Oh man, simpler time. It's going back to the simpler times of Stingray and your fandom of Stingray.
Season 2 Stingray. No, but I did appreciate. I like, you know, because like the season kind of starts, you know, it's Johnny and Daniel, you know, they're gonna work together, or whatever, and it's like they just can't, like, because they're adults and they're set in their way. So I kind of like the way it was like the kids figured it out on their own. You know, it's like the adults are never gonna get over this crap because they're adults and they're set in their ways, and it's like, you know, it's like but the kids. Can't leave it to the kids. They'll figure it out. Yeah, they'll figure out their way to do it, kind of thing. So I you know,
with the fact that they base that, I mean, that's such an obvious way to do this, and it's funny that it's like the 4th season that's really the story they're telling. But what gives it all context and makes it so you know, that nostalgia is showing that, you know, Miyagi basically saying that. They show that clip. Whenever they show a clip, it's just like, okay, everybody shut up. We're seeing an old clip with a pie or something, you know, that we've never seen before. You know,
we got new footage.
Yeah, footage of like, yeah, me and the boys were saying like, that's not in the movie. What is that, a deleted scene? We were like, we need to research the Karate Kid deleted scenes.
You could go in that lunchroom and buy an entire pie and throw it all over each other, and the lunch lady won't bat an eye. But just that scene with Miyagi, you know, saying, you know, you do your karate, you know, and stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's what this whole season set up, was so they could show that flashback and wake Daniel up. Because honestly, I mean, that's one of my least favorite parts of the show is Daniel. He's so annoyingly Miyagi, like, I'm Mr. Right all the time, and it's just like, that's why we like Johnny so much, is because Daniel sucks so bad.
Yes,
and his daughters,
in a believable way, like,
right?
He's had success. This has worked for him. He thinks he's
Mr. Nice Guy.
He thinks he's the best around. Nothing's ever going to keep him down. So you know.
Son really just sucks.
Yeah.
He's the worst.
Oh yeah, that kid. Screw him.
The daughter sucks too. I think the daughter is not a good actress either, and she's the slowest karate person on earth. I like the bad girl. I like the girl
Tori.
She's good. Tori is a good character. Now that, you know, she's like, she looks mad and sad all the time. Like, she's been through struggles. I believe her.
She's got
an actress.
Can I'm just gonna put this out here. Will you guys get on board with when we find out next season that Mike Barnes is Tori's real dad?
Oh,
who like
bring it,
deadbeat dad?
That would be great.
I would love it.
Yeah.
That would be
I don't
great.
Even care.
That's what's going to happen.
I'm so sad that, you know, there wasn't enough popping out from behind cutouts and stuff for me. Like, you gotta every new character should come out from behind a cutout of themselves.
Yeah, I love that, like, how oblivious Daniel is, where, like, you know, they trick the kids to go to the baseball field and turn the sprinklers on, haha, and Johnny's like, oh, you start a fight and you got a guy wet and you ran away like a wuss. Like, Johnny's like immediately recognizes that.
Haven't you ever seen Gremlins? Can't do that.
You ruin a guy's skeleton costume he worked on. Like, you know, like, yeah. So yeah, Johnny is so more aware of that kind of stuff. Daniel's just oblivious because he's living in his own bubble. So
yeah. It's well done.
It's a very silly show for kids, but it has moments like that you're like, yeah, the character stuff is good.
And I did think, you know, like you guys said, it's for most of the run of this series, it's like most of the kids stuff is kind of like, okay, it's like get back to Johnny kind of thing. But I felt like maybe they made some strides, at least like I appreciated like Robbie this season of his, like, you know, basically like I don't care about he basically like he didn't care about crease or like he's like I'm just using them to get what I want.
Mm-hmm.
It's like okay, I like that maturity of kind of what he kind of had a different take on what was happening. He wasn't just like Cobra Kai, and then or even like the Hawk character, kind of take him down a peg, and he has to kind of figure out who he is. I was like, okay, they're trying to do some better character work. I felt like with some of the kids this season. So
yeah, well, and he does a total Obi-Wan to Darth Vader with that little kid, the Russo boys bullying, and then because we go from you feel really bad for that kid to like now like I can't stand him.
Yeah.
Like he's terrible. You've created a monster.
And I did like it was almost like to me it was like very topical that Miguel basically pulled like a Simone Biles. Like he basically said like I don't feel comfortable going out there and I don't like why I'm doing it and I think the people who wanted me to do it are not doing it for the right reasons. So he just made the decision not because it was building up of course in the movie it's Daniel LaRusso's going to fight. Daniel LaRusso's going to fight.
I was like, put me in, coach. I can fix this guy up.
Exactly. Yeah. So I could like, it was a little bit of a twist of he made the decision. It's like, okay, I feel this. I get where they're coming from.
Yeah. We have evolved from that toxic idea of like, you gotta be a man, fight through the pain to, be smart and don't destroy your body. Yeah.
It was good. It was a good, solid season of Cobra Kai. And we at the very end, we're like, okay, we're just waiting. Who's going to be the sneak peek for next season? And we got whatever honk guy. I can't think of it. What's his name?
Chosen.
Yeah, from Karate Kid 2. But, hot. We have to mention the hot Jared Lowe take. That it's the superior Karate Kid movie. I'll never forget that. But it is really close. It's a great movie. I love that movie, but settle that. I honestly was expecting, we're pushing into season 5. When are we getting Hilary Swank?
I feel like she's got to make some kind of appearance.
Yeah.
Terry Silver said something of like, there's other people I can bring it. He said some kind of comment
that made you think
opening
Barnes.
the door.
So I'm sure I can find an old friend to help me out with Cobra Kai while you're in jail or whatever.
But I've seen some speculation on Hilary Swank too, and like how they could bring her in, but we'll see.
Oh yeah.
Well, they just introduced the women's division. Yeah, there's the girls division, so maybe
right.
That would be to train the girls.
That would be amazing if she like came in and really hammed it up. Like just she has to come in and embrace it and she could.
I saw a quote. Someone must have asked her about it, and her quote was basically like, "That sounds like it would be fun." But she'd not like dismiss it. She was just like, "Well, that sounds fun. Like maybe in the future, like kind of thing." So she sounded very open to it. So
hey, wait.
Do you want to be on the #1 show on Netflix for a couple episodes? Yeah, why not?
Wait till
everybody wants you to do.
Yeah, wait till season 6 when we get to Jalen Smith.
No, they probably will do it though. They probably will bring him and Jackie Chan in.
Yeah,
that would be amazing. I like bring Jackie Chan and let him just fucking murder everybody.
It'll be a multiverse of Karate Kid.
Yeah.
So apparently one of the kids mentions Jackie Chan in like the first season or something. Like so, it's like. So Jackie Chan exists as like an actor. So like, well, I don't know if they can bring.
You can do anything you want. We're in a multiverse. The multiverse is everything is the multiverse now.
Yeah,
it's exactly what Jordan always wanted.
They're running out of people from the 3 movies. It's like there's not that many more people they can bring back.
Yeah,
who's the guy that lived in the apartment for Freddie or whatever? Was a terrible friend to Daniel for one day.
Yeah.
Got beat up on the beach and just abandoned the poor child. He's come back. That's about it. Him and Mike Barnes are about the only 2 characters I can think of.
It was a hit. I would have never predicted this to go this many seasons #1. I I would not have said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have 5 seasons of Cobra Kai after the first season." But just like you said, it was just as soon as it came out, everybody, I think binge watched it within a day or two. It was like so excited about Cobra Kai, and I don't know where it ranks on Netflix's top series, but I don't know anything else that's been really, in light of Stranger Things and maybe one or two others, but it's got to be pretty high at this point. So,
and that's still what flabbergasted me after all these years that it even exists. That, like, I know these are not obscure movies; these are beloved classic movies from our childhood. But, like, Jared, you remember, like, we watched that all the time, and we always got into fights afterward. Like, we had to practice, pretend to play karate, and it's like we
I would like
loved
to see some videos of that.
Yeah, that's what I really want to see.
Oh yeah, we beat the snot out of each other in our basement. But,
down there, and Justin's trying to play Nintendo, and
but like,
and we crying, and then.
But like, even into our adult years of us like having debates about how Daniel sucks and making jokes about Mike Barnes, and like these movies are they felt like mine. Like this show feels like it was made.
I thought why
was this made? This is what I would have wanted. Yeah. Like, who else is out there feeling this way?
Well, because I think the guys who created the show were us. Like, they were people who loved these movies so much that they had the exact right approach to it. Of, yes, we know it's all silly, but it's also awesome, and these characters are cool, but it's ridiculous. Like, they had the exact right tone to make it so ridiculous and yet work. So it shouldn't work, but it does. I don't know.
Like I said, there's so much of this stuff. That Saved by the Bell's been redone, and we're getting a new Fresh Prince. Like, everything is done. I'm just not interested in any of that. But for some reason, this show has just done it. I can't say it's the right way or the wrong way, but like, it's the way I want it. And that makes me so happy that it's like, yes, you did exactly what I want out of a show. Thank you.
I would have liked to have known what the pitch was. Like, did they have season 4 all the way? Did they have a general idea, like, plotted out?
Imagine.
Like, Johnny's going to come back, start Cobra Kai, and then you bring in John Kreese, and then Daniel's going to go to Japan, and then like.
That's funny. I was like literally watching some YouTube videos about it, and like some of the behind the scenes stuff. And this was probably earlier on, but it was Ralph Macchio and William Zabka kind of talking about the guys, like, contacting them and trying to pitch it. And they were laughing because that, like, Johnny was basically like, I guarantee you they pitched it differently to you than they pitched it to me. They're like, oh yeah, they totally did. Because like, dude, John, they're like, this is about, it's redeeming Johnny and showing that he's the real hero, kind of thing. So they were laughing about how it was pitched very differently to the two actors.
Oh yeah. Good stuff. This is we're living the dream right now. We got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Isn't it nice to be catered to by
Yes, it is. It is. It's a little much. There's only so many hours in the day.
To have enough to complain about. To have such a bounty that we can complain about most of it.
Yeah.
But also,
that's what I wanted. That's the level. Yeah. So I want to have so much content that I love that it sickens me.
But also,
we shall gorge ourselves until we are sick.
I feel like we've been putting in the work for 40 years too. Like, this is the payoff of 40 years of talking about this stuff and watching it over and over and over again. Finally, it has paid off.
Recognizing deleted scenes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, let me make that segue then to a show I watched recently. Station 11 on HBO it's a one and done thing. It was a book, I guess, that was out several years ago. I never read it. I'd never even heard of it. But it's basically a post-apocalyptic type book. It's another plague tale so many years in the future after a terrible virus kills everybody. But it's not, it's one of those like 99% of the people. It's more of a stand level catastrophe where, very few people are left alive, and, kind of like The Road or The Stand. And it just gives you that feel of those kind of things. But you know how in they make pop culture references in those things, like even like in the Dark Tower, it feels like a different world, which Dark Tower is probably a bad example, but like in The Stand and The Road, it's supposed to be like in the future of post-apocalyptic, but there are still references to things from back in the day, but it feels like a totally different world to, for these references to be in. But we would do that. We would still make these references. And that's kind of what this show is like the evolution of art. In the show, Station 11 is a comic that was written. It's a comic book that this lady wrote, and this young girl latches onto and brings with her into, throughout her life. And as you watch the show then, and they flash back and forth between back when it first happened and then like 25, 30 years in the future where people are at. And it's just really about art and like how art, we hang on to the art. And I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but it's a lot about the individuals involved and, trying not to die of this virus. But I really like the way they worked pop culture into it. It's got a ton of Shakespeare. They do Hamlet, and it's about a traveling troupe in the future going around performing Shakespeare, which seems very pretentious. But they even call that out in the show. Like, it's so freaking pretentious. But at the same time, they're doing things like somebody gives the speech from Independence Day, or just makes a planes, trains, and automobiles comment and things like that. And just like what we would do, we would still make these. That is how what I like about it is the fact that they're communicating in this way. And that is entirely how I communicate with people, is through movie quotes and references to all kinds of pop culture from my life. It is how we relate to each other. It's why we are sitting here and how we have that same background in all these pieces of art. So we are comfortable referencing them and communicating with them. And it's neat. And I don't know whether, people raved about the book, but I feel like this show is really alive, feeling like when they don't have to, when you read like in the Dark Tower, for instance, they reference a lot of music. Stephen King always references music, but pretty much the only way you can do that is with lyrics, written lyrics. And when you're watching a show, they're just playing the songs. That's the soundtrack of the show, and it just really brings it to life. Those songs played from back in the past, but it's really good.
I always felt that way about Walking Dead. That was one of the things I feel like it could have gone further with. Like, it did such a good job of world building, set building. They spent $1,000 designing these decrepit old buildings and, vines taking over, but like there was very little like human touches. I loved on that show when they would show like somebody left a sign, like, John, we were here on 11/17, like we're going to Atlanta, follow Route 7, or there would be like touches like that, but like there was no art in that world. There was no, how did we communicate? What did we build? Did kids have dolls they made out of pieces of rubbish or whatever? Like any like post-apocalyptic show like that, I feel would really benefit
from remembering the past.
We're always going to entertain ourselves and tell stories, and like,
yeah,
humans have done that since the dawn of time, so we're not going to stop.
Yeah. This show is very much the opposite of that. It is all about that. There's like, oh my gosh, you're performing some sort of art. We desperately want to see that. We have no other way. That I recommend
it. Can't all be I'm a soldier on duty, or I'm tending the crops. Like, we sat around fires and told stories or something. Like, that's going to continue.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good show, and it's I don't know, less than 10 episodes.
When society falls, we will still be doing this podcast, but it just will be. It'll just be around the cooking fire. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was good.
Okay.
One TV news I saw tonight. Jordan, did you see the news that came out on a TV show that's coming back?
Justified.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I sent them a little announcement I had seen about that. Yeah.
There had been a rumor a while back that they were working on it, so I bought the book and read the book. So then now it's just been made official.
Wow.
Which Raylan is not in that book. That's not a Raylan story.
Huh.
So I don't know if they're going to kind of tweak the main character of that book into Raylan, or if Raylan's going to be along with a new character. I'm not
What
sure.
was the name of the book?
City Primeval.
It almost makes me want to do a rewatch to prepare. But then I don't know whether I'm preparing for something very small, so it's unnecessary. Probably is unnecessary. There's too much stuff to watch.
It's hard to rewatch anything nowadays. It's hard to watch a thing once, let alone multiple.
Yeah, you're right. It is hard to keep up. Gosh, glad I can complain about
it. It's good stuff, though. I mean,
post-apocalypse, and you have no art or TV, then you'll appreciate it a little more this time when you had too much to watch.
That's
you
right.
Sit around saying, "Man, wish we had more Boba Fett."
Yeah, let's act out. You guys were practicing for the future. See, I can't wait until we're in the post-apocalypse, and you guys can act out karate fights like you did in front of Justin in the basement.
We'll recreate the 1984 All Valley Karate Tournament.
I am not joking at all. Like, every time we watch Karate Kid, for the next 3 days, we just punched and kicked each other around the basement.
Get him a body bag!
And we watched Karate Kid a lot.
I watched a lot of Karate Kid.
Did you guys know Jordan actually took karate classes? Official.
At the YMCA. It's Taekwondo. But,
Oh, okay. I don't know. Well, you had a colored belt at one point. I don't know what color you got up to.
I was a green belt, maybe?
Wow.
See, that's
like
the story. That's how we should have started this podcast. Tales of the YMCA. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You didn't even know.
Do some more moves.
I could go back. I could go back and be the Stingray of Marietta.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh, somebody get a poster cut out of you in a karate, what is it, gi or something? I don't know. Yeah, get all decked out. Oh, this writes itself. I like this. Yeah, we'll get you on there.
Yeah. All right, so that's our attempt at catching up some of this recent streaming and television releases. There'll be more by the time we get back.
When
we come perpetually behind.
When we come back here sometime in the next month, we're going to have to do our movies of 2021 list here.
Do the Poobah Award.
Yeah, see what we thought was good.
Well, the Golden Globes got canceled, but the Poobah Awards, they're going forward.
We're moving forward. We're moving ahead.
We're not bowing to pressure.
Can't stop us. Who's hosting that? A lot of controversy of who's going to be hosting the Poobah Awards.
I think Louis C.K.
He's up. There's a possibility.
Wow.
So he has a special out or coming out or something.
He's had several things. I was on his email list years ago because I went and saw him in Cleveland, and he would every few months he would have another, because he's just like a genius at writing these shows, and he would just be like he hated like how everyone was getting fleeced for having to buy these, so he just would release them himself and send you an email. Send an email. He's like, "Hey, if you visit my website, it's $5 and you can watch my show." And so I've watched, several of them that way, but he still does that. He still does that.
I saw an ad for it. It was you just go to his website. It doesn't have to be released. But the background, it just was the word sorry in like giant neon letters. I'm like, I don't
believe you.
Yeah, I don't know what, that's in such poor taste that it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. But it's like he's going to do a whole stand-up performance in front of the word sorry.
I haven't watched the last 2 or 3 of them that he's put out in the last couple of years, but I'm kind of wondering just how bad he is at being sorry.
Yeah,
I can't imagine he's sorry at all.
I don't know.
He's just not the type.
No.
Speaking of poor choice, did I tell you? I don't even know if I told you guys this. My wife, for Christmas, one of the gifts, she got 2 tickets for me and her to go see Bert Kreischer in Columbus.
Wow.
In April. So
you have to wear a shirt?
I don't know if that's a requirement. I'm guessing no.
And you felt that present was a poor choice? Is it you led this off? It was a poor choice.
Well, I mean, it was a poor choice because admittedly, I find him hilarious because he's a very, he can be kind of off color and very, very crude at times, but he cracks me up. Ever since I saw that Machine clip or special from years ago, I think I've watched every comedy Netflix special he's done, and I listened to at least one of his podcasts quite often. So yeah, I'm a bit of a fan just because I don't know, he reminds me a lot of stand-up comedy in like the 80s when there was kind of no holds barred a little bit, but yeah, not everybody's cup of tea, but I think it's pretty funny.
Still, what was the poor choice?
The poor choice, I mean, just in like
I'm going to push till I get an answer. That was your segue.
Yeah,
that was your segue.
The segue was not
what
we take segues.
Choices.
We take segues very seriously.
Yeah, he's not beloved by a lot of people.
Okay, so it'd be a poor choice had I got tickets to
right.
Okay.
Somebody else would.
Now I got you.
Somebody else would not have enjoyed it as much.
Segue approved. It's got the stamp.
Crank. Boom.
All right, that's enough nonsense for one night, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Jared Lowe, our guest for the 3 episodes, man. Thank you for sticking around and hanging out with us.
I'm losing my voice, and to quote Terry Silver, if a man can't talk, a man can't podcast. So have a good one.
I'm out. Always
he's walking away. He's out.
You can't do better than that. When you've got to be mayor of cocaine and coach the Cocaine Bears, you got to get up early. Got to get up early to train a bear.
All righty. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time. My name's Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
Seth, bye. Forever.
Here you go, Nathan and Jesse. Quit asking for new stuff.
Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the Pop Culture Podcast, at gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, join our Patreon at patreon.com/udamwithkpp for special content and access to Patreon-only benefits. We are grateful for anyone who chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will remain free. So please continue to like, comment, and share.